O Blessed One, Shakyamuni Buddha, precious treasury of compassion, bestow
Everyone, welcome. Anyone here for the first time? Oh, special welcome to you. So my name is Genkel Sengtalopa. So tonight we're going to talk about a basic spiritual practice. You know, we want to be happy and be free from problems and suffering. And then we come to understand that the causes of our happiness, as well as the causes of our suffering, lie within our own mind. Normally we're thinking, oh, the causes of my happiness lie outside. And if I can just acquire all the things I need to make me happy, then I'll be happy. And if I can just avoid all the things that cause me problems and suffering, then I'll be free of suffering. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. It doesn't work like that. Because if you think, a lot of the time we're pursuing wealth and income and respect and pleasure and so on. So you would think if wealth was a true source of happiness, then the most wealthy people would be the happiest. No? Yeah. But you know that's not true. Because you've just got to look at the news and you see countless very wealthy people being miserable. You know, they can't wait to change their life and look for something else, get a bigger yacht. And so we need to understand that the causes of happiness and the causes of our suffering are within our own mind. This is why it's important to engage in a spiritual practice. Spiritual means looking inside and recreating our own mind, changing our mind so we can free ourselves from the causes of suffering and cultivate the causes of happiness. Yeah, no. It's that simple, really. All we have to do is get down to it and know what we have to do and get down to it. You know? I'm not saying you have to change your job, change the place you live, change your friends, change your relationships. All you have to do is change your mind. Nothing else. Okay, so we begin with liberating prayer, and then we'll talk more about what is it we want to change.
O Blessed One, Shakyamuni Buddha, precious treasury of compassion, bestower of supreme inner peace, you who love all beings without exception, are the source of happiness and goodness, and you guide us to the liberating path. Your body is a wish-fulfilling jewel. Your speech is supreme purifying nectar, and your mind is refuge for all living beings. With folded hands I turn to you, supreme unchanging friend. I request from the depths give me the light of your wisdom to dispel the darkness of my mind, and to heal my mental continuum. Please nourish me with your goodness, that I in turn may nourish all beings with an unceasing banquet of delight through your compassionate intention. Your blessings and virtuous deeds, and my strong wish to rely upon you. May all suffering quickly cease, and all happiness and joy be fulfilled, and may holy Dharma flourish forevermore.
And so we'll do a meditation. It's just a fairly simple breathing meditation. So in meditation, it's good to have a good posture, which means trying to have a straight back. And you can place the back of your right hand in the palm of your left, like this, and raise the thumbs, so the tips of your thumbs touch gently together. And just relax your hands into your lap. One of the problems we have when sitting down to meditate is sometimes our mind gets even busier. All kinds of other thoughts start arising. We try to still our mind, but then all kinds of other thoughts keep arising, and the mind jumps to these other thoughts. But we can quickly let them all go. We can quickly let our other concerns go by just imagining that they all dissolve into empty space. So imagine that the whole world outside of this room simply disappears into space. All the great cities and populations and continents, great mountains and oceans, everything disappears into empty space. Even the city of Liverpool disappears. And then imagine that even the room itself begins to disappear. The ceiling goes, and then the walls, everyone else in the room, all the furniture, the statues, even the floor and the chair on which you're sitting. So finally, all that remains is you, your body and your mind. As if you are suspended alone in empty space. And then in this meditation, all we're going to do is watch the feeling at the tip of our nose. As you breathe in and breathe out, try to notice a feeling as you breathe in and then as you breathe out. You may notice it feels cool as you breathe in, and then slightly warm as you breathe out. Try to find that very subtle feeling. Try to feel as if your whole mind just absorbs into that feeling. And you'll notice that your mind becomes still. It's not jumping around to other thoughts about the outside world. And from the stillness of your own mind comes a deep feeling of peace and contentment. When your mind becomes free from the turbulence of distracting thoughts, then a deep feeling of peace and contentment will naturally arise. So you can have this deep feeling of peace and contentment anytime you allow your mind to become still, free from distractions. So turn your mind now to any feelings of peace and contentment that you have. And make a note of them so you can recognize them again. It's as if from the stillness of your own mind, you're getting in touch with your deepest level of mind, like a clear sky mind, free from the disturbances of clouds. Just a mind that itself is the nature of peace. So now you can begin to relax your concentration. And when you're ready, you can arise from meditation. So, in this text, How to Transform Your Life, there's a chapter called A Common Spiritual Practice for Everyone. So, this chapter is essentially just talking about how we change our mind, the kind of aspects of our mind that we begin to develop and the aspects of our mind that we begin to let go. So if we know what the causes of happiness are, and we cultivate those within our own mind, and we know what the causes of suffering are, and we let go of these, we try to reduce them and eventually free ourselves from these qualities of mind, then we're going to make progress. Naturally, we find ourselves having more happiness and less problems, freedom. So the first thing that we need to be able to do is to have confidence in Buddha's teachings. Yeah. We need to have confidence that these teachings will apply to us. Maybe we see or think about or hear about other people who are following a Buddhist tradition, having a Buddhist practice of meditation, engaging in the meditations, the instructions and the teachings of Buddha. And we see how they are peaceful. Buddhists tend not to go to war. There's some notable exceptions to that, but in general, you never hear about Buddhists causing wars. And the reason for that is they trained their mind to be free from anger. All the conflict in the world arises from a mind of anger. You ever been angry? Ever had any conflict? You know, the conflict that you have arises from your own mind of anger. And the conflict arises because, and anger arises, because we think our wishes are the most important thing. The things that I want need to happen. I want. You ever use that? I want. And then the stronger we have that feeling, then the more likely we are to get angry. Because we can't always have what we want. It happens very rarely sometimes. And the things we don't want seem to happen so easily. Yeah. And so when we're just focusing on what we want and what we don't want, then some time or other we're going to be frustrated. You can't live your whole life just getting what you want all the time. And so at some point or other you're going to be frustrated, you're going to be irritated, you're going to be annoyed, and you're going to be unhappy because you're not getting what you want. And this unhappiness is like a fuel that leads to anger. Unhappiness leads to anger. Someone just has to say the wrong thing and you just blow up. Does this describe anything you're familiar with? So, but we need to have a mind of confidence, or what's called faith. The word confidence simply means with faith. with faith in Buddhist teachings, with faith in our own ability to engage in these teachings. And this faith arises from first developing a mind of admiration for others who are following this spiritual path. You know, in my own case, when I was and before I met, the reason I met Buddhist teachings is because I had a couple of friends who practiced Buddhism and practiced meditation. And, you know, I was going through a difficult time, and I could see how peaceful they were. And so I thought, oh, I must find out what they're doing. So maybe I can do the same, and maybe I'll get peaceful and get rid of all my minds of anger. And so they told me they went to a Buddhist centre in the south of Scotland called Samyeling. So I thought, well, if I go there, maybe I can get some of their medicine and I can become like them. Anyway, I did go there, but it was virtually impossible to receive any teachings. And so I went home, and it wasn't until about another 4 or 5 months, and suddenly I got a phone call from one of my friends, and he said, hey, there's this young monk coming to town. He's giving teachings in a Baptist church. No, it wasn't a Methodist church, in a Methodist church. And you should come along. So I went along, and the rest is history. You know, it was just like coming home, receiving teachings on becoming a better person, and overcoming all the angst and irritation and anger that you carry around with you in general. And it's because of that admiring faith that led me to seek out Buddhist teachings, and the realization that, you know, if I follow them too, then maybe I'll become peaceful too. And this applies to all of us. So from this admiring faith comes believing faith. I believe in these teachings. And then wishing faith, I want to become just like you. And so we begin to immerse ourselves. We begin to go to places like this. And in our tradition, we're very fortunate because we have something like 1,200 centers like this throughout the world. So no matter where you are, in many different countries, 40 different countries, I think. If you find yourself in any of these countries, you could go to a place like this and learn how to become more peaceful. But also we have festivals, and we have a spring festival, an international spring festival, international summer festival, and an international fall festival. We have festivals for all seasons. So you can go to these festivals, and virtually anybody can go. And so the next one is in about 3 weeks' time. We're in Brazil. So many people are going to go there and receive teachings. And so when you go to these places, it's not just like meeting together in a small community of 20 or so. There'll be 2,500 people there, at least, in these places, in these festivals. So you're mixing with other people who are doing the same thing as you. And so it's like you get encouragement. You know, you think, it's okay. I'm not so weird. Not as weird as my family is telling me. And so, you know, because there's so many other people doing the same thing, so it can't be that bad. And so we develop these minds of faith, which is a mind of confidence that's growing. I can do this, and I will get the results that I'm longing for. I find the peace, the inner peace that I'm longing for, that overcomes all the anger, all the jealousy, all the other delusions, the strong desires, attachment, and so on. Gets rid of all these negative minds and instead cultivates minds of love and compassion. Caring more about other people and developing the wish to help other people find their way to happiness. Maybe just in the beginning, just giving them stuff that they would like to have to make them happy. Everybody likes to receive stuff to make them to feel happy, particularly around, around the 14th of February, the flower shops are chock-a-block with roses, and the chocolate shops are chock-a-block with boxes of chocolates, or guys, going buying things to make other people happy. So the thing is, as we're developing this confidence, we need to dip into Buddhist teachings. We need to get hold of books like this that you can get for free. You can download it from the internet for free, or if you prefer, you can have a hard copy, which you can buy. If practitioners have strong faith, then even if they make some mistake, they will still receive benefits. There's a wonderful story here. This is from page 73. Once in India, there was a famine in which many people died. One old woman went to see her spiritual guide and said, "Please show me a way of saving my life." Her spiritual guide advised her to eat stones. The woman said, "Well, how can I make stones edible?" And he replied, "If you recite the mantra of the enlightened goddess Sunda, you will be able to cook the stones." He taught her the mantra, but he made a slight mistake. He taught Om Bali Buli Bunde Soha instead of Om Zali Tsuli Sunde Soha. However, the old woman placed great faith in this mantra, and reciting it with concentration, she cooked stones and ate them. Don't ask me how that works, but I haven't tried it myself. The old woman's son was a monk. He began to worry about his mother, so he went home to see her. He was astonished to find her plump and well. He said, "Mother, how is it you're so healthy when even young people are dying of starvation?" His mother explained that she'd been eating stones. Her son asked, "How have you been able to cook stones?" And she told him the mantra that she'd been given to recite. Her son quickly spotted the mistake and declared, "Your mantra is wrong. The mantra of the enlightened goddess Sunda is Om Zali Tsuli Sunde Soha." You remember she'd been reciting Om Bali Buli Bunde Soha. So she'd been reciting the wrong mantra all the time, and yet she was cooking the stones and eating them, and she was plump and healthy. When she heard this, the old woman was plunged into doubt. She tried reciting both the mantras, but now neither of them would work because her faith was destroyed. So this shows you that, as it says, even if we make a mistake, if we have a mind of faith, we still gain merit and energy and mental change. Even if they make some mistake, they will still receive benefits. So, Mantras are just words. They're representations arising from Buddha's mind, from holy beings' minds. So when we recite a mantra, we're mixing our own mind with the mind of enlightened beings. And so if we believe that one particular mantra is the mind, represents the mind of an enlightened being, for us that's what it is. It doesn't matter what the words are. If we have faith in the words, everything's going to be okay. So you see, this mind of faith, this mind of confidence, is supremely important. And even if we're just trying to become a better person, and we make some slight mistakes, it doesn't matter. The important thing is we're engaging with Buddha's teachings to the best of our own ability. And it still works. You don't have to, wear clothes like this to become a great meditator, to become an enlightened being. Just whoever you are, Buddha's teachings work for you. So if we have this mind of faith, then we will continue to engage. And the more we engage, the more experience we have of joy and happiness and peace. Yeah? Because Buddha's teachings and instructions are the cause of happiness. And if we're changing our mind by following Buddha's teachings, why would you not want to do more? If you find a chocolate that you really like, you want to have more chocolate of that particular brand. Or if you like coffee, you found a coffee bean that you really like, and you just want more and more of that. You want to use that more and more. You let go of other things. And so, because we experience the good results from engaging in Buddha's teachings, then naturally we want to do more. Because we like good results. Yeah. And in the process, our faith increases. Faith is not just like a binary thing, it's either 1 or 0. It's not like that. We begin with a little bit of faith, and we poke our toe in the water, and then we get a good experience. And so we want to go further into the water because our faith is increasing. And so as our faith increases, we put more energy into practicing Buddha's teachings. We put more energy into practicing Buddha's teachings, and our faith increases more. And so we want to do more, and we want to do, our faith increases. And so we create an upward cycle for ourselves, like an upward spiral. And every day, every time we engage with these teachings, we go a little bit higher. And then we experience the joy and benefits that come from that. And so we want to go a little bit further. So it's like we never want to stop improving ourselves. And so we're prepared to follow this path to its logical conclusion, where we become a great spiritual being. As I say, you don't have to change anything else. All you're doing is changing your mind. You don't need to change your wardrobe, your hairstyle, anything else. You don't have to leave your friends behind and go off into the forest. You're just changing your mind. And the thing is, everyone around you will experience the benefit of who you're becoming. Yeah. So one of the things we need to begin to develop is a mind of restraint. Restraining us, holding ourselves back from causing any hurtful actions. Because one of the things we want to avoid is causing hurt and harm to other people. So we need to develop a mind of restraint, because when we're causing hurt and harm to other people, with our speech, with physically, or just thinking badly about them, when we're doing this, we're planting negative seeds in our deepest level of mind. We talked about karma a week or so ago. So we plant negative seeds in our deepest level of mind, and they come with us from life to life until they ripen as suffering. So you see, it's our own negative thoughts and actions towards others that is going to create our future suffering. If we understand this, we're going to want to stop. We're going to want to be able to hold ourselves back. So there's two qualities of mind that we need to cultivate. One is a sense of shame, and the other is consideration for others. So sense of shame. Imagine if we had no shame. We just, if it feels right, I just do it. You ever come across this? If it feels good, just do it. But what happens? We can get in, we end up doing all sorts of crazy stuff because our untrained mind is just leading us in the wrong direction. Oh, there's a nice thing over there, I want to pursue that. And we just give up all our other responsibilities just in order to pursue this new thing, this new object, this new person. So we need something that evaluates our potential actions in relationship to what's generally considered appropriate in society. Yeah. So ask yourself, what keeps you out of jail? Yeah. What keeps you out of jail? It's a kind of, it would be a kind of loss of status, a loss of reputation, and things like that are, a shame. Essentially, it's a shame, a sense of shame. So shame is something that holds ourselves back for reasons that concern ourselves. So we get to thinking, oh, I shouldn't do this because I am this kind of person. I shouldn't do this because I'm a teacher. I shouldn't do this because I'm a doctor. I shouldn't do this because I'm a lawyer, and so on. So this sense of shame arising out of concern for our own welfare, our own well-being. But consideration is holding ourselves back out of concern for the well-being of other people. I don't want to do this because it might hurt them. I don't want to say this because I know they would be upset. And so on. So if we have these two minds, sense of shame and consideration, then we're going to hold ourselves back from engaging in negative actions. If we don't have either of those, it's just going to be like the Wild West. Because we just engage in, we don't care what we do, even if it hurts other people, we don't care. It's because we're just pursuing our own welfare all the time. And we have If you just look at politicians, particularly in the United States, it's just dreadful. No shame, no consideration. They just do anything to benefit themselves. Maybe it's not so different here either, but who knows? Consideration for others is important for everyone. If we're considerate, others will like and respect us, and our relationships with our family and friends will be harmonious and long-lasting. Without consideration for others, our relationships quickly deteriorate. Consideration prevents others from losing faith in us and is the basis for developing a mind of rejoicing. It's interesting, because we're considering other people's welfare, we're happy when they're happy. This is being happy when other people are happy and having good conditions, good fortune, is a mind of rejoicing. And then that itself is a very powerful mind. So sense of shame and consideration for others are the foundations of moral discipline, which is the basis for gaining spiritual realizations. It's like a foundation. And this applies to any spiritual practice. I mean, any religious practice. It all begins with a foundation of moral discipline, good behavior, and avoiding bad behavior. So from moral discipline comes happiness. And then there is a mind of non-attachment. Our attachment is mainly to do with worldly things, like wealth, respect, pleasure, reputation, and praise. So we can engage in actions that are intended to increase those for us, and actions that are intended to avoid losing wealth and reputation and not being praised and so on. And so we call them worldly concerns. If all our energy is devoted to worldly concerns, out of a mind of attachment to these things, we have attachment to our wealth, we have attachment to all these other things, reputation, praise, respect, pleasure. Then we spend most of our energy in pursuit of these things. And so it's our attachment to these things. It's not the things themselves. It's our attachment to them that keeps us trapped in a state of suffering, in a state of not finding happiness that we long for. Because all our energy is in going into the pursuit of these things. At the end of the day, they have not much meaning. You imagine if you're dying and someone comes to you, you've got a week to live. Someone comes to you and say, oh, there's this great write-up about you in the newspaper. Or I've seen your picture on the news and they're praising such a good person you are. You don't care. Someone comes to you and says, oh, you've just won the lottery. Wasn't that amazing? Oh, go away. Those things that at the end of the day have not much meaning. They may have meaning in, for example, wealth in and of itself is not a bad thing. It's what you do with it that counts. If you have wealth, then it's an opportunity for engaging in a very virtuous action of giving. The word virtue means that which is the cause of happiness. So we engage in the practice of giving to other people, using what wealth we have to give away to other people. And that action of giving is actually a cause of our own happiness. So, these two together, giving and moral discipline, are very important. Moral discipline creates a cause of happiness, both in this lifetime and in our future lifetimes. So we practice moral discipline, and we're creating the cause to be reborn as a very fortunate person, like another human being again. And then we engage in the practice of giving, and the person that we become in the future has good fortune as well, has more wealth. From giving comes wealth. So you can think, for example, how important it is to practice moral discipline. Anybody got any cats? Yeah. Sometimes our cats have great conditions. Yeah. They're just fed whenever they want. They're cared for. They have better living conditions than many other people, many human beings in general. Why did they get that? The good conditions come from the practice of giving. But they forgot about practicing moral discipline. Because moral discipline is the cause of a fortunate rebirth. But they didn't do that, so they didn't get a fortunate rebirth as a human being. Instead, they find themselves being reborn as a cat. Yeah. And the thing is, once you go down as a cat from a human being, just because we're human doesn't mean we're always guaranteed to be human in all our future lives. So if we don't have moral discipline, there's a tendency to get reborn as less than human, like an animal. But once we become an animal, our chances of getting back as a human being are pretty slim. Because if we're an animal, we just continue to engage in bad behavior. Yeah. Your cats never engage in killing. Yeah. So animals tend just to create more a lack of moral discipline. They can't understand this concept of sense of shame or cherishing others. They just go after whatever they can. So if you think about it, it's our attachment to worldly concern that's keeping us trapped in this cycle of suffering, that's preventing us from putting energy into becoming a better person, to becoming the best we can possibly be. So if we don't put energy into following Buddha's teachings, once we've found our way to them, we may end up at the end of our life with lots of regrets, thinking, gosh, I just wasted so much of my life. Pursuit of wealth and reputation and so on, and now, what have I got to show for it? And I've accumulated a large amount of money, and now I just have to leave it all behind. All my big house, all my nice furniture, everything, my several cars, I have to leave them all behind. And they have no meaning for me. They don't help me as I'm dying. They can't stop me from dying. And there's no help to me in my future life, because I can't take any of them with me. Even my body I don't take with me. The only thing I take with me into my next life is my mind. And because of my concern with these worldly things, these wealth and reputation and so on, because my mind of attachment to these things, it stopped me becoming the best I could be, becoming the best person I could be. And so in a sense, I've wasted my human life. I may not get an opportunity again for a very long time. So this attachment to these worldly things is like a big anchor that's keeping us trapped in a state of suffering and preventing us finding the happiness that we long for. As I said, it's not those things, those worldly concerns themselves, it's our attachment to them. We can have a great job, we can be CEO of a huge corporation, a huge company. That's not the point. If we use that position to bring benefit to other people, we'd be making our position meaningful. But if we just use it to enhance our reputation, to enhance our wealth, and buy bigger yachts, bigger cars, etc., etc., it's a complete waste. And then non-hatred. So it's non-attachment. We try to overcome our attachment to things. And then we try to overcome or develop this mind of non-hatred. Non-hatred is not just absence of anger. It's a mind that is actually called affectionate love. It's the opposite. Non-hatred is the opposite of hatred, which is a mind of affectionate love. What is affectionate love? When from the depths of our heart, without attachment, we feel very close, warm and happy towards someone, this is affectionate love. It makes our mind peaceful and balanced, free from anger and attachment. Thus, it is also called equanimity. So, affectionate love is like the first quality of love that we can develop. From this mind of affection, this wish to get close to other people, comes a mind that cherishes other people. Imagine if you were introduced to someone you'd never met before, but you were introduced and say, oh, in a previous life, this person was your mother. It's a little bit difficult to think about. We need to understand, first of all, that we have had previous lives, and in previous lives we were born, and when we were born we had a mother, who took care of us and helped us develop and grow and so on, taught us all kinds of stuff that helped us to live in society. And then we died and we took rebirth into this lifetime. But our mother also died and took rebirth into this life. So we're being introduced to this person that we don't remember. This person our mother has a new body in this lifetime. So we don't recognize her. And so we're being introduced, and the person who's introducing us tells us, this was your mother in your previous life. So how would you think about this person? You would understand that in some way who you are right now is dependent upon what that person did for you in a previous life. Taught you moral discipline, so now you have a precious human life. They taught you how to engage in practice of giving, so now you have a fortunate human life. And so this person, you understand there's a strong tie between you, a strong relationship between you. And so it's very easy to have a mind of affection towards this person. Yeah? No? So you're meeting someone who's been so kind to you. You hadn't realized it. You never thought about this person, complete stranger, but somehow you realize they've been so kind to you. And so you want to repay that kindness with this mind of affection. You know, come and let's sit down and let's talk, and I'll get to know you, and we can have coffee, and I can get your number, and we can meet up and have lunch and get to know each other and spend time with each other. This is affectionate love. And from that mind of affection comes a mind of caring or cherishing. This person they're so important to me, I want to look after them. I want to make sure they're okay. I want to make sure that they get what they need. And if they're sick, I want them to help them get over their sickness. So this is cherishing love. It's an enhanced level of mind, this mind of love. And then from that mind of cherishing love, because we care about them so much, we want to give them permanent happiness, not just temporary happiness, but something permanent, not that will last them not just this life, but all their future lives as well. So it's like we want to take them by the hand and lead them on this spiritual journey as well. Saying, come with me, I've got a great journey in store for you. Let me take you along this journey. So this is a mind of wishing love. So from, as we're developing these minds of non-hatred and non-attachment, we're kind of developing a spiritual power, a spiritual energy that we can use to be able to benefit other people more. And then there's two, one which I'm not going into in much detail just now, but we will address at some point in the future. And because it's called non-ignorance. At the moment we have an ignorance called self-grasping. We all have it. And what it means is that we spontaneously think that everything exists completely independently of our own mind. So when we see someone else, we never think that the way they exist is dependent upon my mind. And this applies to everything. You know, so all the objects in your life, all the people in your life, they're completely separate from your mind, completely separate from you. So here in the West we talk about objective reality. So all the people and all the objects are objects that you need to be discovered. You need to find out how they function, and you need to decide whether you want to keep them in your life or whether you want to get rid of them. Yeah? Yes? No? But how would it be if that duality, that objective reality, was a complete falsehood? How would it be if everything depended upon your mind? So someone you like because they have good qualities, it's coming from your mind. It's your judgment that they have good qualities. And then there's other people that you dislike, and coming from your mind, you think they have unpleasant qualities. Yeah. So some person's a friend, and someone's an enemy. Yeah. Do you want to get rid of the enemies? You want to keep the friends close. Yes. Well, you can ask yourself, those people that you regard as enemies, will everybody else in the world regard them in the same way? Probably not. Probably not. Just think about politicians. I mean, in the UK, you pick one particular political party, half the people will like them, the other half will dislike them. So who's right? You come to realize it's your own mind that's making these determinations. It's not, we don't question what appears in our life, but what we are questioning is how it exists. Normally we think it exists entirely from the side of the object, out there. But this non-ignorance, which is a realization called emptiness, enables us to realize that everything's coming from our mind. And so all we need to do is to be able to make friends with everyone, to be caring towards everyone, to have love and compassion for everyone, is to change our mind. And then we turn people who used to be enemies, we'll turn them into friends. And then there won't be any difference between our new friends and our old friends, because they'll all be the same. And no matter who appears, we just have this beautiful mind of love and compassion, no matter who appears. And so in that way, we begin to be like an enlightened being, a Buddha, an awakened one, a high-level Buddhist practitioner, to be loving and kind and compassionate to whoever appears in front of our nose. Yeah? Doesn't matter what they look like. Doesn't matter what shape or size or gender or color they are. Because we have this understanding that the way they exist is dependent on my mind. And so with my beautiful mind of love and compassion, I can love them. I can be compassionate to them. And in the process, we're making our own life meaningful. Imagine we'd be spending our whole life adding to the amount of happiness that exists in the world. What could be more meaningful than that? So even if when we die, we've added more happiness than when we came in. And also, we've added more happiness to the world than we've taken out for ourselves. Because we stop being so interested in taking happiness out for ourselves. So these basic minds of faith, sense of shame, sense of consideration for others, non-attachment, non-hatred, non-ignorance. These are the qualities of mind that we're going to develop. and the qualities of mind that will make us a better person. But we need to put effort into it. Nobody has a magic wand that can come along and say, there, now you have all these qualities. You have to develop them for yourself by reading Buddha's texts about how to develop these minds and why you need to develop them, and gaining confidence in Buddha's teachings by practicing them. Putting effort means putting effort into practicing. Also reading and studying and contemplating and meditating. And in that way we're changing our mind. Okay, well, let's finish with a meditation. So we've contemplated these different mental qualities that we need to develop as our basic spiritual practice that will help us to become the better person, the best person we can possibly become in this very lifetime. They're minds of faith, sense of shame, consideration for others, non-attachment, non-hatred, and non-ignorance. To develop these minds, we need to make effort. To study how to develop them, the value of the minds themselves, and to put effort into cultivating these minds. Faith, sense of shame, consideration for others, non-attachment, non-hatred, and non-ignorance. This is what I shall practice. Because I want to find real happiness and freedom from suffering. This is what I shall practice. This is what countless others have done over the last 2,500 years. Millions and millions of people have practiced these teachings. And I will do the same. And I can look forward to improving my peace and happiness, and being able to give that sense of peace and happiness to others as well. And if I do this, I will make my human life really meaningful. And so we simply meditate single-pointedly on the determination to put effort into cultivating these minds for ourselves. You can feel as if you're giving yourself a great gift that will last your whole lifetime and future lifetimes. Make this determination very strong for the last minute or so. I should put effort into developing these minds for myself. So I can benefit myself and other living beings too. This is what I shall do. So now you can begin to relax your concentration, and when you're ready you can allow your mind to come back to the room. And then you can arise from meditation. So when we're out of meditation, when we go out of here, we just remain mindful, we just remember what we've determined to do, and then we put it into practice in our daily life. Might be a start to just get hold of this text, and you can read just what I was reading today. And we will make reference to this text in future classes as well. Okay? Yes, any questions?
One quick question. So, when you do feel like a sense of anger, and you recognize that, or remember that this is not related to the outside world, what's the next thing that you should do?
Run away.
Run away. Leave.
Take yourself, because the anger arising is in relation to some person or some object that's appearing to you. So if we stop that appearance, we take the object out of the way, then the anger can't arise, it can't survive. The other thing is, another thing that's important in developing any of these delusions is inappropriate attention. You know, when we focus our mind on the unpleasantness of another person, and we keep thinking about it, we exaggerate it, and then that leads to us getting angry. So if we stop the exaggeration, just shift our mind away to something else, then we cut. There's three things necessary: is the object, the tendency that we already have to get angry, and then there's the inappropriate attention. So these three things, if we take away any one of them, then the anger will not arise. It needs three things to develop a delusion: the object, the tendency, and the inappropriate attention. The easiest one to stop is the inappropriate attention. That's why I just run away. Hide under the bed here. And the beauty of that is that it gives you a chance to really examine, why am I getting angry? You know, why is this painful feeling arising in it's because of the way we're thinking. Yeah. And so it gives us a chance to develop some wisdom. Okay. Shall we finish? Thank you very much. Thank you.